boys and girls. We're back again. You know, keep it to this station. I think you're going to like what you're going to see today. This is going to be a really fun show. I hope you like it anyway. I think it's going to be a fun show. Anyway, There Is a Place, and let's begin, boys and girls. There is a place where there is no crime and poverty. At this place, everyone is rich in love, joy, awareness, and liberty. There is a place where freedom, democracy, and equal opportunity for everyone is a reality. At this place, boys and girls are taught personal and social responsibility. There is a place where there is no violence and no people fight. Can you imagine that? Wow. At this place, all the children are cool. As a matter of fact, they are out of sight. I'm 97 years old, boys and girls, and in the 60s we used to say out of sight a lot. That means that's another way of saying it's cool, okay, just to explain that to you. All right. Hey, boys and girls, let's start a revolution. Come on. All right, let's get going here. Okay, and the name of this show, boys and girls, as you know by now, There Is a Place. This is our 4th episode, and we're still on. I think we're going to make that 200th episode, boys and girls. I think we're going to be on 10, 20 years. You know, all this crew, we're all going to be together. You know, boys and girls, there's over 100 people who put this show together. You know, this is very complicated. I know it, you know, it looks all simple, but this is a very complicated. We have many people involved behind the scenes. As a matter of fact, the makeup artist is unbelievable on this show. I'm 97 years old, that's the truth. But look at, see, 4 hours in the makeup room. That's why I look like this. If you saw me without the makeup, you wouldn't recognize me, boys and girls. I look totally different, totally different. So I just want to let you know that it's amazing, you know, the illusions that you could do on television, how people appear and certain things. And you don't realize something could be so simple, like the way this show is, but, you know, you could have a crew of over 100 putting a show like this together. Anyway, once again, I said the name of the show is There Is a Place. This is episode 4, and the name of this episode is Xram Lrak. He's a person. He's 200 years old, boys and girls, and I'll talk to you more about that. I'm your host, a storyteller, and there is everything, and let's get started. Xram Lrak, like I said, he's around 200 years old. We don't know what country he originally came from. He speaks every language, boys and girls. He has a PhD, a doctorate, and everything. Well, he's 200 years old. He had a lot, and plus he's very quick. If it takes 4 years a person to get a PhD, he probably did it in a year, sometimes even less than a year. He's that bright. He knows every language. So we don't know what country. We know he was born on a ship. So that's where he was born. So he was not born in any country. He was out to sea. Okay. Now, what's amazing about him is because he can communicate in many different ways. Here's a coffee cup, boys and girls. Now, if somebody drinks coffee, and you know there's the foam or remains of the coffee of the grinds there, he knows, because sometimes people are thinking certain things. It'll appear, and he knows in images to him, and he could figure out what they were thinking. That's how he reads coffee cups. He communicates in many different ways, not only language, but what you're thinking. And it appears, like for instance, it appears in the palm of the hand, certain things. And he could see it, and he sees the images, and he knows how to read those images. So he's a palm reader, not in the traditional sense of a psychic, but this is a comedian, not that he can predict the future, but what the person is thinking at the moment. Okay? And because of this, he investigated a lot of things to find out things. He's a public investigator. He's a PI, not a private eye, a public investigator. He works for the people. He exposes people who are doing serious crimes to the public and brings it to the public in any way he can. Okay, that's what he's been doing. He's kind of retired now. He is 200 years old. I've met him. He's taught me how to read I know how to read the coffee cups as a storyteller, and I know how to do the palm reading. But once again, not to predict the future. I'm not a psychic. Xram Lrak is not a psychic. What is the person thinking? We communicate in many different ways. He could pick up by speaking to a person if they're lying or telling the truth. These are certain things. He's amazing. Now, you may wonder, how did he learn all this? Well, he's 200 years old. What happened, you know, born in a ship. He knows everything about ships also. What happened was he was on a ship, and this particular ship, he was probably, 19 years old at this point. And an accident happened. I think something blew up. I don't know exactly what happened. The ship caught on fire. And he and 4 other sailors wound up on a raft. And it looked like they were going to die. They were there on, floating the sea, nowhere in sight. And all of a sudden came this dolphin, Anita the blue dolphin. That's the name of the dolphin. Beautiful dolphin. And she guided the raft to an island. Okay. And the dolphin brought food to Xram, Lrak, and the other 4 sailors. Now, they were on the island for months. Now, they learned how to find food on the island. They shared things. And what the 5 of them promised, that they would devote the rest of their lives in setting up a society based on sharing and cooperation. Now, obviously, the other 4 sailors, or maybe not so obviously, the other 4 people are no longer with us. But Xram, Lrak is, and he devoted his whole life into setting up a world based on cooperation and sharing. Now, Anita the blue dolphin saved their lives. At the beginning, brought them food until they figured out how to get their own food. Also, Xram, Lrak, being with the dolphin, learned how to communicate to Anita. Okay, and so he learned in many different ways, through visual, even picking up vibrations, how to communicate, how to pick up different communications of people. Okay, and this is what he learned from Anita, and he was actually able to talk to her in the high voice and so on and so forth, okay, that a dolphin has. It's very interesting how he did this, and because of that, he figured out palm reading, and he also figured out the coffee cup reading. Also, he could read hot chocolate, by the way, the foam that's left on hot chocolate. Also, if people, they eat their plates and the kind of food, the stain of the food that's left on the plate, what the person was thinking, he could figure out through the image. He could see the image. And he learned that through his communication with Anita, okay. Not that he could predict the future. Sometimes people would ask him, predict the future, and he said, I can't predict the future. You make the future. You can change things. But what he would say is, basically, I'll read your coffee cup. I can have an understanding of who you are, okay, from reading this coffee cup, which may affect your future, okay. Anyway, that's the story of Anita the blue dolphin, and saved their life, and how living on the island with these 4 men, and how they decided how the rest of their lives were going to be donated to build a world based on cooperation and sharing, also based on science, also based on humanity, also based on art. This is what they all agreed. A true democratic society, a society where people will be free, everybody is equal, and there's a true democracy. This is what they all agreed on. Okay, and this is what they devoted their lives to, and Xram, Lrak is still doing that today. Okay, he's kind of retired now, and he's taught me a lot of things. He's great. I'm not so young myself. I'm 97, but I've learned how to be like him, and there's a way of living a very, very long time. Obviously, I'm 97. I don't look like this. This is a great makeup job, but hoping I make it to 200, just like Xram, Lrak. We'll see. Anyway, he's still fine. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Keep an update on him. There'll be a lot of Xram, Lrak stories in the future episodes, but this episode is devoted mostly to him. Now, the next story I'm going to tell you about is Xram and Benito. Okay. Now, Xram lived in Italy, and this was during 1920s. And there was people were excited in Italy. Here was this Benito Mussolini running for the leadership position.